Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Leipzig in Germany. It is cold, but we are warmed up, full of passion, ready for the first StarCraft 2 event of 2016. I hope you all at home are excited for 3 days of awesome StarCraft 2 action coming your way. I'm, of course, the host for the event, Sean Clark, also known as Apollo. You may know or may not. Maybe you should know. And
great shot.
The best intro to the best event. I'm looking forward to this one. A massive shout out to the sponsors of this one, which is, of course, Zowie is the headline sponsor with Razer, G2A, and Monster Energy. And, of course, a special shout out to Blizzard Entertainment. Joining me on the desk for the next couple of days is a special guest, Kalaris, who joins us out of nowhere. Hello, Kalaris.
Hi.
What are you doing here?
I'm
Who
not
invited
sure.
you?
People thought I'd hung up my side blades for good, and now I'm actually here, which is weird. I didn't even expect to be here, to be honest with you.
Kalaris had a passion-driven appearance here because he was traveling over yesterday and basically had a phone call saying, "What are you doing this weekend?" He's like, "I'm watching the StarCraft tournament." "Well, where are you doing it from?" He's like, "I'm in Leipzig." "Do you want to cast it?" He's like, "Okay."
What am I doing?
Just kind of happened.
And of course, Nate and Todd, welcome back to another DreamHack event. We did a lot of DreamHack events together last year. We're here again for another one. Looking forward to this.
Happy to be back. We're bringing a lot of stuff back. The best host is back.
And
the best hype and play-by-play is back with
Kalaris!
Kalaris!
Yes!
So we got the best of everything here.
Yeah.
And Nate is returning to casting
Well,
as well.
I mean, they don't salt. I heard they don't salt the fries in Leipzig, so that's why they hired me.
Yeah, we did need that. But we more importantly needed the #1 Twitch.tv StarCraft 2 streamer. So that's your role. You took it away from our dear friend Roddy. And happy to have the #1.
It's good. It's good to be the king.
Congratulations
here.
on your recent success, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course, you can join us on Twitter throughout the weekend with 2 hashtags, DHOpen and, of course, WCS. Do not forget to send in your tweets and maybe some predictions, maybe tell us how bad we're all doing. And now it's time to head to the best place of DreamHack here in Leipzig. It's Smix City with the skyline of the nerds.
That is absolutely correct. You can see the skyline straight behind me. And of course, we have in this cozy corner, I have Rotterdam joined with me. And I feel like it's kind of rare to join you at one of these DreamHacks. It's really good to see you here. How are you doing, Kevin?
Yeah, that's right. I haven't done too many. I did do DreamHack Stockholm in 2014. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't there for winter, but I'm very happy to be here right now, especially because this is like the start of the new WCS season for real. You know, we've been talking a lot about it. Everybody has an opinion, but it's great to be part of the start here and hopefully follow the journey of some of these nerds throughout this entire year. And obviously, this is where it begins, so.
Well, you said some of these nerds, but obviously everyone always has like the particular players that they're looking out for. And I know you were, specifically, you were talking about some of the Dutch players. So, like, are there names that you can share?
I mean, I don't want to go full bias here just yet, but I genuinely believe that my Dutch boys are going to have a very good run here. I think Harstem, #year of Harstem. I mean, it's been going on for a couple of years.
It's been like 4 years now.
Yeah, so I suggested we rename this year to the #year of the Dutch Kevin, so I can get a share of it as well. You know, and I think Harstem is actually very good. At Home Story Cup, he wasn't able to show it yet. That was the first big legacy tournament he participated in. But I think, you know, I was talking a little bit with the other Dutch star, Utermal, that's also here, and that I also think is very strong, even rank 1 on ladder sometimes. That maybe Home Story Cup is just too much fun for Harstem, that he doesn't really have his eye on the prize. But I think here, we're going to see a very serious and dedicated Harstem, so I think he's going to be good. I think Utermal is going to be very good, but so many more. Like Snoot is going to be strong. Cyril is here. Daishi, Violet, of course. Hydra. Like I don't even know where to start.
Especially with the lack of the usual enormous Korean presence we have at one of these international tournaments. All the foreign players that we have here that we usually see at a DreamHack actually have a really, really strong chance of not just moving on to the top, round of 16, which is usually where they would make it if they were lucky, but now they have a strong chance of making it to the top 8, to the top 4.
No, absolutely. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of taking away Nate's line over here, but the dream is so alive for all of these nerds. Because it's exactly what you say, you know, in the past you hope for, can I be the last remaining foreigner in the top 8, and then maybe you get paid some events.
And then maybe you make it to the main stage, but otherwise you're just stuck in the dinky tournament area,
And exactly, now for so many of them, the dream is extremely alive. It's very hard to call a top 2 here. It's even hard, I think, to call a top 8. There are definitely a lot of people that people look at, like, you know, Nerd Show top 8. Obviously, we expect that Snoot top 8. Yeah, if we see the good Snoot, he's going to be top 8 here. But
Marine Lord.
yeah, Marine Lord, after his performance in Nation-wise, everybody has all eyes on him.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about the other Frenchies. You know, Drogo, very strong. Lilbao, very strong.
And we have Firecake, who seems to always perform on land. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is such a unique, cool tournament where you can look at like 15 guys and you can actually say if they win it, maybe some of them would be more of a surprise than the other, but it's not impossible. And that makes this DreamHack very special, unique, and very exciting to be part of already.
Yeah, I completely agree, Kevin. Of course, if you guys had no idea, we started out with 96 players today, and we are going to whittle it all the way down to 8. But Sean, will you walk us through the brackets and what we're going to be expecting?
I will, Sue. I will. That's what I'm hopefully going to try and do.
Thanks.
I'm hoping to see a lot of fun up on that couch. We're going to have a lot of guests throughout the next few days. Elky is here. He's been following all the StarCraft events over the last couple of months. He came over to O Gaming and cast some of the...
Feels like he's everywhere.
He is everywhere.
Yeah,
because there's a Hearthstone tournament going on here. There's a PokerStars tournament going on too.
He's doing everything
He's
at
doing
once,
everything.
isn't he?
He's going to come up here and
Running
do some.
production, might be observing a couple instead of Funka.
The thing is, I wouldn't put it past him to like, you fancy observing one of these StarCraft keys? Like, so sick, so sick. You know what he's like. We're going to try and get Take up there, and of course as many players as we can on the couch to talk with Smix, and whoever wants to join it up there as well. But moving on to the next part of this, let's talk a little bit about WCS then, because this is the first event of many to come, not only for DreamHack, but for others in 2016. And of course, WCS, a very different year. This is a point-gathering tournament, so players that finish high in this tournament are going to be picking up points to hopefully play at the global finals at the end of the year. And it's an interesting year, and I think this is going to be a very fun year for sure. And I mean, apart from WCS, very soon there's going to be the Winter Championship with the Untitled Masters Katowice.
A completely
players there.
revamped format with a stricter region lock, which is why we see very few Koreans actually take part here in these tournaments.
And an opportunity for a lot of players here to make their name and put it into the spotlights come the end of the year. So it's going to be an interesting one. There's going to be a lot of events coming from DreamHack throughout the year, some that aren't even announced yet. So look forward to hearing a lot of that. And of course, this is the first one for DreamHack. The second one is going to be DreamHack Austin, just around the corner. And then, of course, the Untitled Masters will host the Winter Championship, not too far away either. But moving forward then, let's talk about DreamHack. 96 players started this morning. We're down to 64 already. We have got 32 players eliminated. And now the 32 players that made it through DreamHack Open, the open part of the tournament, are now matched up with the seeded players. Here is the round of 96, by the way. So we do have some results already through, of course. Players going through, players going home. TLO's brother played in Group N.
He got very unlucky, actually. That's 3 Grandmaster players that he got in his group and 3 Protosses as well. And I heard it's his worst matchup, so I guess he was the only way to stop the creativity of the second brother here.
Majestic's a big name in Group G. Group K, you've got Minimath, who's been playing a lot more StarCraft again recently. Rail, Group D, also known as Verdi, kind of comes out of nowhere sometimes. He's back again for another StarCraft tournament. Beastie QT is another name you'll recognize. Any big names there that stick out for any of you guys that you're looking forward to following,
I like the guys that made it out of Group C, man. You got 2 great creative usernames, Hate Me, so probably aggressive Protoss player, and Cheese King, who might also be an aggressive Protoss player.
I'm actually surprised in Group D, actually, that Rail didn't top that group. It was entirely Protoss, and normally he's actually quite good. As much as a lot of people kind of give him some hate or whatever, normally he's quite good, but coming out in second on that, I'm kind of surprised.
Well, it leaves us into the Group 64 now, which is now being completed. As you can see, this is where we're going to be starting. And there's a lot of, you know, some really close groups. You've obviously got your favorites that you're expecting to go first and second, as per usual at most DreamHack events. But what stands out the most for you there, Todd?
The amount of French players that are going to wreck people stands out pretty much.
Go there.
I've just noticed something.
We've got quite a few of them.
There
actually,
are a lot.
I think it's like 6 or 7, maybe even more.
Wow,
because they don't all have their flags right now. So actually, even starting with Group A, there's 3 French players there: Firecake, Lilbo, and Hino, another Grandmaster Zerg player.
You've got Group N, and Protoss ended up in the same group as his brother.
Oh, rip.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And you've got the American Hope Neeb. You've also got State playing here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see Neeb play. And
Actually, the Americans, sorry to interrupt, but the Americans is another class of players here that I'm very interested in because Neeb and State are super sick, I think, and they can do really well. That's probably what you were going to say. No?
States live in Korea. Neeb has been topping the EU ladder. He's actually been super up there. I had a chance to talk with him before today's tournament started. He had absolutely no confidence whatsoever. He was pretty sure he was going to lose because he has to play against a Zerg, but I still believe in him.
Yeah.
And I look very forward to seeing how far he goes in this
And
tournament.
of course, there's Huck and Scarlet too. Are we actually going to expect North America to show up, play some good StarCraft, get far in this tournament? Because the best Europeans are here, mate.
I think with the new WCS circuit format, we're going to see different North Americans stepping up this year.
Yeah.
I expect to see Neeb take higher results than either of them.
Am I picking an obvious one when I pick Nurchio to do pretty well here? Or is that he's like 43 and 6 this year. That's pretty impressive. How can he be 43 and 6? That's 87% win ratio.
Yeah, he doesn't really lose
very,
games.
very good at the moment. Of course, Diego's made his way over. Our good friend, Kalazor. There's I mean, every single StarCraft player that you could think of that's, European, American, from South America, pretty much here ready to compete.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Very unpredictable tournament, especially with the format too. So right now we're in group stages, second group stage for the round of 64. Round of 32 then becomes a seeded single elimination bracket, and that's going to play all the way through. It will become a best of 5 from that point and play all the way through to the grand finals, which becomes a best of 7. So depending on where you get thrown into that bracket, are you going to have the best players in your side of the bracket? Are you going to run into, an anonymous really, really early? What do you think?
It's going to be interesting. It's definitely completely different to how we've kind of had it before, and it kind of even goes on to the way the prize pool's laid out, the way the points are distributed here for WCS. If you get top 16, you get 1,000 guaranteed, which already is a massive,
That's
massive
high motivation
incentive.
for a lot of players.
I think that was one of the other key things, especially when you look at like the changing for the format for the WCS circuit for 2016. The pressure isn't on you to make that top 4 finish, to actually get something out of coming here, and I think that that's really awesome. And also just the way that it's spread out with the more strict region lock, you really don't have any idea how things are going to play out. We're still very early on in Legacy of the Void. I love that the matches are going to be longer with longer series. If you guys haven't been tuning into too much Legacy of the Void, the games can go by really, really fast. It's a much more fast-paced, much more action-packed game.
And DreamHack Winter, when we broadcast Legacy of the Void back then, last year, was a great tournament. There were so many very good games. And in Nation Wars that we've just completed as well was a fantastic tournament with, again, good games. Even you featured in it. Captain America over there.
I got my own highlight from that tournament. Feels good, man.
A lot of fun. $50,000 up for grabs. Let's take a quick look at the schedule then and see what we have in store for today. We're going to be starting up with the first game. It's going to be Daishi versus Majestic, France versus Spain in that one, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to be covering 3 games from this group stage before moving into the single elimination bracket, the round of 32, and then this evening we're going to have 4 games back-to-back of the round of 16, finishing the day with 8 players remaining. And then from tomorrow, every single game is going to be broadcast. We're going to be covering all of them. Of course, best of 5s all the way through to best of 7 grand finals, which will be happening on the last day. So a grueling day for a lot of players here that start in the round of 96. Reminds me of a lot of the older MLG days and the older DreamHack Open days when there was a ton of players and you had to play for hours and hours and hours and hours. So it could be a grueling day for some of these guys.
Yeah, we get to see that test of endurance for these players. It's no longer just about your skill. It's, did you get a good night's sleep last night? Were you out going full Stefano? Or did you get to bed early? Things that are important.
There's a reason there is a huge fridge packed with Monster over there. just right next to the play area for them to help themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day for sure, and we'll see who survives to the top 8. There's still a lot of good players left in this tournament. But we also have one more thing that before we start moving on to the first game of the day, we do have a Razor competition.
Ooh.
For you guys at home, not for us. And
sorry,
magically out of nowhere, we have this beautiful Mamba mouse, which is going to be up for grabs. 3 of them up for grabs over the weekend. I'm going to guess 1 a day. Maybe I just made that up. Maybe I didn't. You'll never know. But you can go to the URL, which is down here. And I tried to remember it, but I didn't. It's rzr.to/ something. It did pop up down there.
Like
it was like C3PO. So go to there and you can have a chance. It's going to be a raffle. Enter it, and then hopefully you can have a shot at winning probably, maybe, this very own Mamba mouse right there.
You're so good at your job, Sean. All you have to remember was 10 letters.
I know. So, Sean, all you need to do is just remember 10 letters.
That's actually why I didn't host this event, because they said I have to start to remember number patterns. I was like, just give that to Sean. Sean's better with numbers.
And I just, I tried my best and couldn't do it. But let's focus then on game number 1 then. It's going to be Daishi versus Majestic. Going to be starting up with a French player, Todd.
It's going to be good, man. I feel like they match up really well together. Both players currently in the top 10 Grandmaster on Europe. That's not, you know, the mid-master that me and Roddy will provide on our stream or Nate on NA when he's streaming. Definitely a higher caliber of play. So looking forward to what these guys can do against each other.
And of course, Nathanish, you get to see the overpowered Terran play.
Oh, yes.
To start things off.
Of course. I mean, that was the entire reason why we wanted to go for this match. Funny to note that Daishi already tweeted out, he's like, man, 3 Protoss in my group. Will I survive the adits or not? Just,
He's thinking about it.
Right now, he's got his gospel
thinking
music
about it.
on. He's like, Jesus, take the wheel, please.
Todd, what would you guess he's listening to? Because he's clearly listening to music or the sound of adepts, but I'm going to guess music.
The adept attacks.
So smoothing.
He listens to some pretty awful music. So if I had to guess, like something like Katy Perry or something like that.
And there is Majestic. See how well he can do today. Looking forward to him. Seeing how well he can do.
A player we don't get to see much of, but who already at DreamHack in the past has some good performances that definitely have put him on the map out there in terms of being one of those players that definitely at some point he's bound to have a big breakout performance.
Could this be it?
Yes.
Could he advance on this group?
I think that's a big part of what the whole WCS circuit format is going to allow, though.
Yeah.
I think it's some of these guys historically have been picked as we'd say, oh, this guy's a contender. Maybe he could take out the Korean in the tournament. But there are a lot of these players that didn't quite have that ability to knock the Koreans out, but because of the practice that they get against the other Europeans, they were always players that you would see cause these upsets weird early on in the bracket, and then they would end up losing to one of the Koreans. But I think guys like Majestic fill that role of, okay, this is his opportunity to show where he stands against other European players in a very good light, because I do think it's possible that he can clear this series and make a deep run.
All right, well, let's move on to predictions then. James, what do you think about this first match that we have at hand?
I'm going to go with Majestic, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Like, when seeing him in 2015, he didn't quite reach, like, Premier status or whatever and things like that, but I definitely think he can cause an upset over who would argue the favorite in Daishi.
Okay, are we going to see a lot of adepts here, Nathanis? Because I know you're a big fan of these units.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll see a bunch of Liberators, too. And I've already seen the maps that are going to be played for this series, so I'll give it to Daishi. I think Daishi's got it.
And Todd, I mean, it's a silly question to really ask a Frenchman. You're on a high horse, or the French nation has been recently in StarCraft 2, and no doubt here again.
Yeah, like obviously I'm going to predict Daishi and hope he wins, but at the same time, Majestic definitely shouldn't be underestimated. I spoke a little bit with Daishi. He was pretty worried himself. He told me like how Majestic likes to play, and like I said, these two are very high ranked on ladder as well, so you can tell like they've played a lot. I think Daishi has something like 1,200 games, Majestic 1,000 this season already. So these guys, they've not been, you know, taking it easy. They've been practicing very hard for this.
All right, well, it's time for game 1 of the DreamHack Zowie Open here in Leipzig to kickstart this 3-day tournament, and it's going to be France versus Spain. Let's get into it.